It's like the best video ever.
This is crazy.
We got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Hey!
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's happening? Welcome to episode 2.
Here we are, episode 2. And just so you know how new it is, we're like just getting our stuff together.
No. We're absolutely I'm so excited to be on here with you guys. We actually just got back from seeing each other. We just got back from Dallas, so it's just a blessing to be on with you guys. Hope everybody is doing well out there in YouTube land.
So the last time we came on, we didn't necessarily talk to you guys about like who we're here for.
Yeah.
Who we would like to be talking to, who would like to talk to us, who would we like to engage in conversations with. And it's basically people who are similar to us, people who perhaps you're in a network marketing company and you're just trying to figure it out. Maybe you've had some success, maybe you've had a significant amount of success. This is definitely a place for you. If you're an entrepreneur in another area, also for you, we would love to talk to you about what it takes to be an entrepreneur in the more classic sense of the word. And so we look forward to continuing to have conversations with you as well. So if you're out there trying to figure out if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to go into owning your own business and being a representative of a company where you can make commissions for sharing their services and product, then and you're trying to like figure it out, try and see like what is life really like, we're here to talk to you too.
Absolutely. And I love that because a friend of ours, as Janelle was saying, this is brand new for us, in terms of what we do now. We've been doing our business now for over 5 years. But as we take on different things as entrepreneurs and, branch out into different arenas, one of the things that we use a lot is try and get as much feedback from other people as possible, right? And the crux of that now helps us understand that there are obviously going to be areas where we can get better. There are things that we're going to do better over time. But if you aren't open in the front, open up front to ask others, to assess you or to, I guess, be critiques of the work that you've done, chances are you probably aren't going to excel in the ways that you want to, because obviously, we all have blind spots, right? And so if we can't, look to ask those that are around us to help give some just honest opinion, some honest feedback, then, it's probably not going to help us get as far as we wanted. So one of the things Janelle and I did, like I said, is to reach out to a friend of ours. She took a look at our first show, and there are a few things that she pointed out. And what was so great about that is because of where we feel like we are mentally, we were able to take a lot of that criticism and say to ourselves, well, where can we improve? What can we do better? And the reason why we love that is in the business that we do in network marketing, there are events, right? And one of the questions we got is, I just joined this business that, when I sat down for the opportunity, to her Janelle's point, whatever the business industry, whatever the marketing is, right? There's a product that you see, some type of service, something, right? And usually there's some type of money up front, whether they maybe get involved, but there's something that you're going to have to come out of pocket. And then usually if the person does do it right, and we're going to, like we said, be as transparent as possible, there's usually an event coming up. There's usually something that they can point you towards that can help really train you in what you guys are about to do. And let's actually wonder why that would be. Many of us, and Janelle, you could definitely jump in, as in the type of profession you do as a teacher. Many of us, even when you go to school and get an education for something, there is then the application of that education into, let's say, the real life working of what you do. So, I mean, even as a teacher, I'm sure you learned a lot in school, but if you didn't have that foundation from school, do you honestly think you'd have had as much success as you did being a professor and being able to teach in the capacity that you have?
It's so interesting. So no, right? We all need to be educated, and you need to like get a foundation as to like what you're doing. And just to be very clear, I currently teach people how to be genetic counselors. So I am a professor in a graduate program for genetic counseling training. And honestly, I bring that up only because I'm speaking from that very specific place, which I think dovetails really nicely, because we are often teaching our genetic counselors to speak to people and to help people. Okay. And when we start to train them how to do that, we have to train them how to listen. We have to train them how to help people. Sorry. So, okay, this is real life. Earlier,
the butterfly's back.
I almost got hit by the fan, and then, but now the butterfly just landed right on top of my laptop, and I'm like, I wish.
Oh, that's awesome, though. All right, even I have to take a moment and say that's actually pretty cool.
That's nice.
That's pretty cool.
So anyway, we have to teach people how to listen. We have to teach people how to help people down a path of shared decision making. Ultimately, people are typically making a decision based on whether or not they want to participate in genetic testing and that type of a thing. And so we have to essentially train our students or teach our students how to be able to do that effectively in a way that ultimately the end goal is just to help our patients feel like they weren't alone in that one moment of their lives. They got some help, they got some assistance. And so I find a lot of similarities in that way. Yeah. Wow. I find a lot of similarities in that way because we essentially do the same thing. Like in a different mindset, you were thinking, how can we help people? Most of us who are in this line or in this profession, we understand that we have a service or a product that's supposed to help people. So how do you do that? How do you find out like what they need and how what we have could possibly fulfill a need that they have or something that they're missing or lacking, and that this would provide for that. So it's just I have a constant reminder that this is just like a part of what we do. It's human. It's human to need to get trained, because you just don't off the bat know how to do that. Because it's one thing to be a good listener, but it's another thing to take that listening and then help people navigate towards making a decision. And that's essentially what we're doing all the time. And that not only does it require training, it requires practice. So we actually have the students like do role plays. Anybody ever do a role play in their new business, right? Do role play. How do you make a phone call? How do you talk to people? How do you talk to someone who's a friend versus how do you talk to somebody who's a stranger, right? So we do role plays. Then we take it up a notch. And this would be really cool if we could do this in our business. We have the students train with what we call simulated patients. These are actors, paid actors, who are trained to act a particular way in order to essentially force the student to build on a particular skill that we need them to build. Could you imagine if you didn't just role play with your friends, but you role played with somebody who was supposed to act, right? Like a stranger or like a friend or something, or to get you to talk about objections or handle like whatever that was. But like it takes it up by ante, right? Because you know it's not a real person that you're talking to. I mean, I say real, like it's not a real potential customer or potential, success partner that you're talking to. You know that this person is trained to act in a way in order to help you learn. And it takes it up a notch because they're a stranger. So it feels very real in the moment. And so we go through role playing with your peers to simulated, right? And then finally you actually go in the world and you talk to people. But even in that, you're still supervised. So you spend 2 years being supervised. And I think about that with what we do. And I'm like, it's crazy because you spend 2 years and like thousands, like $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 on this type of training and education, only to come out and certainly not have access to the type of money that's possible with network marketing. And it's 2 years. So it just makes like, okay, your company is now offering training or education. Like,
no, I love it.
Why would you go? Like,
I love it. Well, one thing you brought up, Jay, and I love that you went there, is the cost. And that's what I was starting with. And I love that you actually naturally did go there, because that's the part that, that's the resistance, right? I just got in. I do love the product. And, I honestly think, and it's just because we've dealt with literally thousands of people who've come into our organization, you find these different scenarios where you have that person where, their reason for it is initially is, well, I don't need the training, right? They immediately look at, well, you're gonna teach me everything, and there's some truth in that, right? Let's be honest, there is some truth in that, right? The person you're partnering up with, the person who's sharing it with you, there's that a natural expectation that, well, this person is going to be the one that teaches me. And so the first thing I think about, and I'm gonna be corny, but I got this from training this past weekend, where they talk about like the telephone game, right? Where it's like, I tell Janelle something, Janelle tells X something, X tells Y something, and so on and so on. And by the time it gets to you, right, it's a completely different thing that was originally said, right? It wasn't what I said. And to that point, when you imagine in our business where things are going person to person, I mean, I get I get Janelle started. My expectation of the mindset I want to instill in her about our business is like, how fast can we go out and show somebody? Well, that speed can be a double-edged sword, because obviously as we go out and we show people, let's say we get 5 people in, 5 persons later, if it's not still coming back to me, that 5th person may start doing something completely different. Their business falls apart, because guess what? Now they aren't excited anymore because they weren't trained. And then it runs right back up the line till I get a call 2 days later as, hey, Winston, it doesn't work. And it's because why? The bottom, this has literally happened to us before. Mm-hmm. That bottom person said it didn't work, and it went right back up. And all of a sudden, you're 5, excited partners in, and next is 5 people who are deflated because one got told by their crazy aunt that this doesn't work, or it's a scam. So that's one school of thought as to why I think training is so important. But the second one is that same thing about just that upfront cost, whereas I just got started in this, and now you're demanding more time from me, which again, I think I just want to stand on if you're working with somebody and they share things with you, because we want to help as many people, like Janelle said, as possible. If you're working with somebody, guys, and they tell you that you don't have to put any time into this, because I know there's systems that are out there where they'll tell you just get in and we'll send you a list of names to reach out to, and there's a bunch of stuff that's out there like that. And I just want to say that I have never seen someone build a successful network or organization through that. And the one thing I always say when I see those people who are doing that is, if that works, why don't you do it? Go become, hit the top level in a company. I'm almost positive there's more money in that. But something somebody pointed out a while back is, and it's so funny because I'd never thought about it, is there's actually more money in the person selling you that fake system, because that person recognizes that there are more people who will not want to work at it and will be looking for an easy way out. And when they said that, it really blew my mind. And they were like, look, you got to think about it. There's so many industries that are out there, and the industry, and not even just the industry, I shouldn't say industry. There's so many companies within an industry, and their whole mindset is not to be on the side of, let's create something that trains people to do better. It's let's create something that helps the people who don't want to be trained. Let's go out and let's go find a way to help the majority of people, and it is the majority, who don't want to be trained, who will spend more money to not have to spend money. But like, how wild is that? Like, I won't pay to go to the company's training, but I'll pay this other person money to be successful without the training. And when they said that, it really blew my mind, because I'm like, that actually does make sense to me, that there are people who are willing to go out and not do that. So I just think it's so wild, because in almost any other area in our life, we understand you need to be trained. All right, you start a job, think about it, as corny as it is, would you want a doctor who hasn't gone to medical school? Would you want a lawyer? If I just showed up and was like, I'll defend you. Oh, great, Winston, what law school did you go to? Law school? I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for that. That's crazy. Like, I'm excited. I saw a couple episodes of Law and Order. I think I got it. I think I got this thing figured out, right? You'd laugh at me. You'd be like, yo, buddy, get out of here, right? So why would you, how come it seems like I feel like we're so comfortable, right, in accepting that, but you don't want to become a professional, network marketer or a professional relationship marketer? And there's school. Training is the school. And to the point, you made, what's the difference? Let's be real. For business people putting our business hats on, right? I am almost positive. I think somebody said it this past weekend. In most companies, and I don't know all of them, I would say training for the year, just the event. We know that you got to travel in some instances, right? You want to say it's probably under $2,000, just the event, all the event, right? I know without going into too specifics with us, that's where ours somewhat, falls, right? So in my mind, it's $2,000 for school, or Janelle, if you're so free, what did it cost you to go to your school?
It ended up costing, I believe it's $89,000 for the 2 years.
There you go. Right. So I think it's just, again, wild to me, because those people who are that's the crux. They're putting themselves in $89,000 worth of debt with the expectation that they are going to make over their lifetime, more money. And I just think it's wild that people aren't willing to spend $2,000. And I think maybe here's where I'm going to say, I think where people get bogged down, because I was like this in the beginning, is, wait, I have to keep spending the $2,000 every year? And I didn't get that in the beginning. I don't know about you. For me, when they said, yeah, there's this events every year, I'm like, why don't you just teach me what I need to know in this one now? Just teach it to me now. I don't want to go to another event in a couple months, right? But what do you, and this is what Janelle and I were talking before the show started. I think maybe one of the first times really recognized that aside from the knowledge of the event, there's an energy that I left the event with that, and Jay, you may be able to speak this, but that I'm fired up. I'm really fired up right now. I see a lot of success in the future for our team and this industry as a whole, to be honest with you, because all ships rise. And I honestly think the success of one is going to really be able to push others. So, I mean, would you say the same thing for you? Like, even though, financially may not always be the easiest thing, there's a lot of value you get from the training. Like, where have you seen it kind of maybe play?
Yeah, 100%. My very first time they told me about training, I was like, to your point, I was like, I just put in $300, close to $400 in this. And now you want me to spend another $200 on the ticket to go. I haven't even figured out what the airfare would be like. And I have to pay for a hotel and food. All of this in my mind, I'm racking it up, and I'm like, that's more than what it costs to get in. And I started this because I don't have any money. Like, what is happening? And then they were helping me, start the business, of course. And then they're trying to tell me, oh no, but you got to go to this training. And I was just like, I really was out. Like, the way my mind was, I was like, look, I'm smart. I went to an Ivy League school. I don't need to go and spend all this money now to learn something. Like, I will, if you're not going to help me anymore, it's fine. I will figure it out myself. I am smart. I will do that. And you know what happened in my business? Nothing happened.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. That's why.
Right. Nothing. You see nothing? Right. Exactly. Nothing happened. And I remember those who did go came back, and they were so excited, and they were doing stuff, they were taking action. And I mean, I was taking action, but I'm sure I wasn't showing up the way they were showing up, right? I mean, I'm taking action, but my energy towards that action was definitely like, I'm in the grind, I'm grueling. Maybe you want to see what I've got. Maybe it can help you, right? Whereas they were coming in and they were like, you have to see this. Like, no, I'm picking you up. We're going to go see this, right? Like, the attitude was just so much different. And I recognized that. I recognized when they came back what that felt like. And so, coming out of our events, of course, I can now attest to the fact. Well, I'll just say this: the next time they were like, "Well, now we're going to go to XYZ event," I was listening. I was paying attention to what they were saying, and I was like, "All right, I got to go to this event." Like, all right, well, now that I know ahead of time, I will try and save up. I will try and do what I need to do in order to go to the event, and yeah, and then, like many others, my first event was life-changing. Never look back. Never look back. One of those things where you have to experience it, for sure, I would say.
And Janelle is on it today because again she leads right into the next thing I was going to talk about. Because what you said about saving for the event is something I did, and again, just because within our business, I know I've had those conversations where it's, the event's 90 days out, then the events, like I said, to me, in almost any successful company that I've seen, is they have some training every 90 or whatever days to, again, we want you guys to know that if the company doesn't, you have to be conscious of what you are doing, who you're partnering with, because they should have an expectation that the organization is growing and they recognize that this industry is scrutinized very much so. And if people aren't trained, they're going to go out and they're going to say the wrong things. They're going to make outlandish statements. So to me, if the company doesn't have a conscious mind and say, we want a place that we can bring you all in, train you over a course of 72 hours, 48 hours, whatever, or maybe a day, and then send you back out, we're encouraging you that don't let that be a reflection of the industry and just of the company. They're bad companies in any industry. I mean, let's be honest. I can Google terrible department stores, and I'm sure there's a slew of stores, some I probably have never even heard of in my life, that are out there. So we just want to make sure that kind of is like a disclaimer out there, because to Janelle's point about, and I wanted to lean to this, Jay, that idea of saving money toward that event 90 days out, or working your business, like you said, I didn't have the money. I got into this for the extra money, but now you're asking for 200. And to me, it's like, great, let's go get the 200. You did just make that investment into this business, right? Of whatever. Let's turn that around. Obviously, our business is designed to get you that extra income that you want, right? So why don't we sit down now? And I think that'd be a great strategy for anybody out there, right? I get you in, and because I know that training is to me more important than anything else. We sit down and I go, Janelle, I need you to be with me in Fiji for this event, right? Fiji, Winston, I need you to be with me in Fiji. I need you to be with me in Ohio, wherever, right? What do we need to do to get you the money to get there? Because if I don't get you here, 6 months from now, you're not going to be in my business. Like, what if we talked that honestly with people, or a year from now? Because that's, I know, one thing that you and I stress, Jay, is that whole, kind of giving them a vision of what a year in the business or a year in the industry would look like. Like, wouldn't you agree that maybe some honesty, or maybe not honesty, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm painting a, but just what would be the word? Go ahead. Like what do you think is the yeah, I mean, I think you get what I'm getting at, right? Like, what do you think? Is it wrong to kind of set that expectation? Or
no, I think people should be more upfront from the very beginning. Something else I learned from the training that I do is that we learn setting expectations is huge. Unmet expectations is where things crumble and fall apart. And when the students have a particular expectation, they're like, oh, but I expected you, professor, to do X, Y, Z, or to help me with, ABC. And then they realize, oh, you wanted me to do this on my own, right? Like that shift in expectation is huge. And so we have found that it's really, really important to set the expectation, and people respond better when they know what is expected of them. Wow. Whereas when people are just kind of like, I think this is what we can do, and maybe it'll work if we do this, right? Like, you don't really feel confident behind that, right? I certainly wouldn't. If somebody like who I saw as someone with experience were to say to me like, well, maybe we could try this, or maybe we could try, immediately I'm like, they don't really know what they're doing. And do I really want to follow that person? Versus somebody who's like, look, this is what it takes to get this done. I expect you to be like, I'm going to give you the schedule for all of the trainings. I expect you to be at each one of them because you said you want to do really well in this. So the way that you do really well in this is to make sure that you actually get to trainings. That way they can train you on how to be really well at this, right? Like, and then you just said the dates. Like, these are the dates. And I had to save money in order to get to my first event. So you're going to you may, or may not, I don't know, but there's a possibility you may have to save towards it as well. And if you feel like that is still a hurdle for you, to your point, Winston, it's like, well, then we can use this business to create the money in order for you to go. So let's do that. And what does that look like? Oh, it looks like you're going to have to put in time.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to put in some energy, right?
I
So
think, no. I love that. And again, I do think, because I've, this isn't our, my first rodeo in terms of being where in the business now, but I've, taken part in 2 other companies before. And in both instances, I do remember them talking about training. But I don't think the person was as, and I know posture is a word that we throw around a lot in our industry. I don't think they were as postured. And I do agree with you. I think that translates so much, because, you come out of the events, right? And because you've just gotten this new found knowledge, because you've probably seen some people who are having success in the industry, or specifically in your company, winning and hitting the different ranks and such. You come back now, and I can say to you, this is what we're going to do, right? It's like, and this is my thing with you now. It's like next steps. What are the next steps that I take? And I think when many people get into business, and I'm speaking as myself. I remember some of the first times reaching out to people. One of the reasons, and one of the reasons why I know I hesitated in reaching out is because I did not know what to do when they got in. In my mind, I remember saying to myself, all right, cool, I'm gonna reach out to Janelle. And I just remember that my inner idiot going, she's not gonna join. And it was because then when she does, we gotta call another, it's like, then I gotta call another one of her friends, and that friend's gonna, so it's like in my head, it's like, I didn't want to believe I'm gonna get Janelle in. We're gonna get on another call, one of her friends, get that friend in. Then we're gonna get on another call, get that person in. And like, I didn't have that desire or that expectation within myself. So how can I pass it on to the person I'm reaching out to? And imagine me calling you. I mean, again, without going so much into details, you're the type of person I would have wanted into my business, right? And maybe not, you weren't the person you are now then, but it's just amazing to see how, because of the trainings that we've gone to, how we've grown. I mean, let's be honest. Do you think 5 years ago, I don't know how we would know each other, but if you said anything in you would think, Winston, let's go start our own YouTube channel and show.
No.
And I'm not even, same here. There's no way that I would have even considered doing this. But interestingly enough, God's been training us, you know what I mean, with some other things, and really doing a lot of just interesting things. And the thing that the training for me, I just know it, is what's really built me up to think I could even, that I could even do something like this. So to the question, I'll just say straight up, I absolutely think training is essential. Your company should be leading the training, or someone who is having success, documented success within your business. And I don't mean someone's maybe flashing their bank statements around, but I mean someone who you've seen the company recognize, right? Like in our business, it's like we see the company recognize certain people. So when that person does a training now or a live or something, I'm quick to jump on. I'm quick to take notes. I'm definitely, it's just one of those things where I know I look for that. So my final answer, Jay, is I'm going to say yes. I think training is absolutely essential in the business. How about you?
Is that your final answer? Do you want to?
That is my final. That is. I wish I had like a little. That is my final answer. We're gonna have to get we're gonna have to get like a little button that we press and answer. Yes, that is my final answer.
Yes, I would agree. The question, as a reminder, in case anyone forgot, is training, does training matter? Do training events matter? Do convention, some of you may call it convention, do convention events matter? And the answer is yes. 2 yeses over here. You got 2 yeses. We would love to hear what you guys have to say, what you think about it in the chat. Please, if you're watching this on the replay, let us know. We'd love, love, love to hear from you. Also, as we are talking about your thoughts about this particular question, what would you like for us to talk about next time? We have some topics that we think would be pretty cool, but go ahead and share in the comments. Again, if you're watching this in the replay, and let us know what you want us to talk about next time. I will say there are 2 things that we've been thinking about talking about. And if you want us to talk about one of them, we will. If not, if you have another topic, we can talk about another popular topic that comes up in the chat. But one question is, right, as big questions, real answers, right? One question is, you have friends and family who do not support you in your business, your new entrepreneurial business, your new network marketing business. They're not supporting you. They're not buying from you. They're essentially not buying from you, right? So should I drop my friends, right? Should I drop those friends and family? Should I just not really communicate with them because they're not supporting you? So should I drop them? Should I drop my friends, right? Or taking it a step further, if you have a friend or a family member who is, maybe they're selling a product or a service, maybe they could be selling, who knows, protein shakes or what do you call those things? Those corset things, right? Those wraps. Or maybe they're selling insurance, or maybe they're selling better ways to travel, right? Like whatever it is, but you found it cheaper. Whatever product or service they're offering, you found it cheaper on Amazon or some other thing, right? Do you support your friends? Do you buy from your friend anyway, even though they're more expensive than what you see elsewhere? I don't know. Do you? Do you? So those are the two questions that we had in mind. Let us know in the comments which you would prefer for us to talk about. Or if you have a completely separate topic, let us know. We would love, love, love to talk about. I have a feeling the next two questions are going to get a lot of like chatter.
No, I definitely agree. And both of those are some huge ones where we've I mean, that second one is actually I'm rearing up to talk about that because I have a ton of opinions. I mean, just it's one of those things because we can even just without even getting which friend. Both my friends sell corsets. I gotta buy 2 corsets, Winston.
Oh yeah.
No, but we like Janelle said, guys, drop us a question or take a stab at either one of those. As we leave you guys, one of the other things we're going to tell you guys about is we're also going to start moving the conversation to Clubhouse. Incredibly cool app. One of the things, as you guys are all entrepreneurs, you should be looking to do is find different platforms that you can get your voice out on, so people hear and you start attracting the people that you're looking for in your business. So definitely look out for that. You can follow us on our different social media. We'll get that out to you guys. But comment below. We'll definitely have just more amazing content for you guys. And as we close this out, always in closing, remember, as always, you deserve
the good life.
See that?
Say
we'll see you
that.
guys in 2 weeks, okay? Remember, hit that notification bells, guys, so you know when we're going live. But just know now, in 2 weeks, Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you will see us right here. Have an amazing day, you guys.